Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I certainly did. All right. So this market is in a state of confusion for the moment, which leads myself to be in somewhat of a stage of confusion since I'm following the charts and trying to figure out which way they're going to go here. As we discussed in the past already, the internals reached an extreme last week. Prices are different indices are floating around their 200-day moving average. Maybe some haven't gotten there yet. And they're up near price resistance, as you can see here in the S&Ps. But so far, attempts to make dips haven't followed through. Well, that's yet to be seen, a trader, of course. And, this is what makes a market, different individuals having different opinions about what's possible based on the information that they're looking at. And then eventually we see that, things are going to go one way or the other, of course. Right now, they're chopping around, as you can see here very clearly on the hourly chart, and how prices came down as sharply as they did yesterday morning, and then they rallied up there. And as they tried to, take out the highs, they failed and they came down. They went down overnight and then rallied back up again. So this is a picture of confusion. Good morning, Alex. Hope everything's going well on your vacation. Missed you. And I don't know what this bar here, I wasn't following the news, what that's about. It looks like some kind of news thing there, where prices went down to retest that pre-market low from yesterday and rip back up again. So, depending on which side of the chart you want to focus on, right, which is what we do and try not to do in a sense, meaning we want to look at the whole chart objectively. So what I mean by that is looking at which side of the chart you want to look at is like, do you want to put more weight on the big, ugly red bars coming down like that, or the big green bars where it goes back up again with a failure to follow through to the downside? Now, within a trading range, you have both of that. So you've got the different opinions, buyers and sellers, in conflict, whereas as prices are moving up as they were here, there's no denying that buyers are in control and taking, even minor dips and pushing prices higher and so on. Now, so we've got an upward trending move, right? That's what we discussed yesterday, even though prices had come down hard yesterday, where we had this M top formation, and then they came down hard, which led to a bias of, this is opening up the door to move lower. And then, as you know, on the T triple Qs, I shorted them when they retraced up here, and I gave it a relatively tight stop, and it stopped me out. I think it was on this spike up here, and then it came back down. So it was a shakeout, and now we're just kind of waiting to see which way these things are going to go here. So is this another consolidation to push up ultimately to the high up here? Is today going to be a down day? That's confusion. We don't have a clear picture yet. Here it's stalled. And part of the problem in a sense is, look, if the weekly chart was in an uptrend like this, was moving up like that, I would say ultimately this should be absorbed, this area here, and it goes higher because we had some corrective action where it pulled back, and that's trending higher, and daily's trending higher, and so on. Whereas this, while this is a deep retracement, and we had this conversation a few weeks ago, that the depth of retracement is suggesting that we wouldn't see a new low on a correction. So ultimately a correction is coming. The timing of that isn't so easy. Right? And this is what we've been looking or trying to, decipher as the timing. So when we see, this nasty break as we did yesterday, pre-market, and, this small topping tail at the 200 near price resistance, everything we've been talking about, well, that says, hey, that's a decent situation or higher probability that this could be the turn. But ultimately, buyers took control again yesterday. And if we look at the intraday charts, if we look at a 5-minute of yesterday, and then this was some news. So there was the news pre-market retail sales, and then there was some news about China. And then after the third attempt to take it lower, sellers ran for the exits and buyers flipped it back up. And then we had this wacko kind of a gyration late in the day, and then down it went. And so here we got this crazy move here pre-market. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, you see the kind of price action that we're dealing with here right now that is, borderline insanity, or let's just say it's mild uncertainty. And so things are flip-flopping back and forth. We're waiting for a resolution of which way prices are going to go here, and we've got multiple time frames out of alignment, meaning, the weekly, while it's a deep retracement, it's setting up potentially a lower high. Could that make a higher high here? That would be pretty crazy too, but maybe it happens, where this is moving up. But ultimately, we have to see some type of real break on the daily time frame, and that isn't happening yet. Okay. Now let's go through the other markets. Sometimes one gives us some additional information that another doesn't, and we've got the same kind of crazy price action there on the hourly. It looks a little bit different on the daily. The weekly is it's right at that prior high there. So big deep retracement there. So that is certainly bullish. The depth of retracement into this swing high. Most downtrends would have stopped in this area. This one didn't, but still, we know that risk for longs is growing here. And Russell, right up against the old high here, chopping around. The gap down there was bought, and so buyers just staying in control, stepping up here, and even the ugly bars to the downside, they don't follow through. And again, that's bullish. Transports stopped right at the 200, so another reference point and the prior high reference point there. And ultimately, what we do, I gave you the definition. What's major support? It starts with a pivot. Talked about yesterday, pre-market. 3 higher lows on both sides. And there you go. It made a new high. That's your new major support. It's got to trade under that to violate the trend in the daily time frame. And we do the same thing on the hourly. That's where things would start. I'm saying when small companies are leading the market higher, isn't that confidence for the market to go higher? Well, what happens, Robert, is sometimes the small companies lead at the beginning of a turn, and that is bullish. But when the small companies start to bring up the rear, so to speak, that typically happens near the end of a trend. So where money starts to gravitate into the more speculative issues, or another way of seeing that is that in a particular sector where the leaders have been going up, and then near the end of the move, money gravitates into the laggards. And again, they bring up the rear. Well, diamonds, interesting. I don't know. I didn't go through the Dow stocks, but that had this move down as well, but further from those highs than the spiders and Qs. So something in there is showing some relative weakness. Anyway, we've got our intraday lines in the sand. We're still looking at a trading range here, unless prices can either trade above this high or down below yesterday's low. Looking at the futures, same story. It broke that low, created new support, and we've got just a wider trading range. And if this closes like this, we have to give the nod to the bulls and say, hey, if you can close this at the high of the day, or maybe even higher than this, now the expectation has to be that it's going to go higher on Monday, especially on a Friday afternoon. Now, we always have two scenarios. And while that pattern, a consolidation at the top of a wide range bar, and if it does close bullishly today, I have to believe it's going higher. But if Monday should open with a gap down below that low, get your short guns ready, because that would be bearish and that would be a shock pattern, leaving those bullish traders, and that could be us on Monday, holding. Yes, Tuesday. Thank you, Neil. I forgot that we get the day off for President's Day. Yes. So we'll see, and so that kind of leads me to think, well, a 3-day weekend, all this China gibberish lurking out there that got the markets to sell off midday yesterday and then recover, and no one cares about that over a 3-day weekend. Well, certainly that says, traders, investors are bullish and don't really care. But if there's a shock on Tuesday, it's going to be very meaningful. Qs, same story. It looks good. Trading strongly up against the old highs. They're stalled at the 200, but they're not backing down. And the Dow, same, looks good. With trading range, we'll see which way it goes here. Bonds are down a little bit, but in a trading range. Yes, Pat, markets closed Monday for President's Day. Crude oil came back from that dip down to major support. So on what major support, while a retracement to that, the depth of that retracement puts the trend in question. We need to get a break below that and ultimately a close below that to break the trend. So this is a concern when you see prices retrace all the way to major support. Whereas when this had this big move and created what we call a tradable void and major support is down here, going sideways creates support, and that's bullish and suggests higher prices. And so it did hold that. And now we're going to see, does this exceed this old high or become an M top? Gold survived this little pullback here and actually, pulling back there to the rising 20. I like the little dip under there. We looked at this yesterday, and, the dollar's moving up, and gold just having this minor correction. So that's bullish. With that being said, I will hand it over to Dan Gibby. Is Dan there?
Oh, yeah, it was muted twice. All right, good morning. I was just typing up MJ there, and I just posted it. I'm assuming maybe CGC posted earnings. So this is a beautiful, beautiful reversal here. Gapped up on Wednesday, 2 sideways. Now look at pre-market. It's a beautiful pre-market chart. So I put it in the upper right window here. Let's look at opens first. And we've been trimming our inventory, both the longs and the shorts, so we don't have as much now. We still have Tandem, Rockstar. Wow. We legged into, a covered call for the 5th or 6th time. and we're capping our gains there at the 49 strike. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to decide how to manage it. But it's a good problem, not a bad problem. X, we have a covered call. Urban covered put, which we rolled to next week. Hey, somebody remind me later. I'll do a quick video just showing how to roll an option. It shouldn't take long at all. Costco, this is a problem child. We're short the 215, 220s for next Friday. But it's not a no-brainer to, I definitely can't convert it into a directional. But let's keep an eye on it for selling a put spread just to leg into an iron condor. XOP, covered put. We shorted the breakdown on this reversal bar on Tuesday. We shorted an out of the money put. Disney, same out of the money put. I mean, we have a covered put. LEN did not trigger, but it still looks fine. But why roll and win? Well, sure, we'll talk about that. We talked about it yesterday with Urban, but the quick answer is we did it with Tandem the other day on the bullish side. We did it on Urban because this looked like the bottom was going to fall out, and we were short the $30.50 puts for today. And we rolled them to next week $1 lower. So that gives us a bigger potential gain and not capping them. That's the reason. Well, they are capped, but it's capped at a better profit. A couple that I just have on my carrier watch list here, MIC. Reverse head and shoulders. That is a beautiful, look at this monthly. That belongs in the textbook. Look at that monthly, Greg. On our Master Trader bullish money patterns, where we have the beautiful W, new low failure, engulfing, price void. Wow.
You just have to be patient with them because, they tend to take a little time. There's a lot of people caught in that thing that want their money back, but it's a good bottoming pattern.
PVTL, a couple of these we found in the wide range bars yesterday. I said I would love a 1, 2, 3 for Tuesday. INCY, we did a little video on multiple time frame alignment. TPX, I had as a 1, 2, 3 candidate. Now it's 50% retracement. MRO, I like. Wide range igniting consolidation. Weekly, monthly, bullish 15. That looks great for a day trade even. Let's put that in. Look at that. It's a beautiful 15-minute chart right there. That's my best looking day trade setup right now. MFC. Nope, see, the retracement's too deep. So you're gone. MTRN was a gapper yesterday. Look at that monster. EXTR, I think it was Cindy who brought this to our attention yesterday morning for a great little day trade. Sabra, it's still, we'll keep this on our short watch. A gap breakdown from consolidation on the daily, sell setup engulfing. FUV, 6 gapping down into this bar a little bit. Yeah, Mike, if it sets up on the 15, that could be a day trade. Newell getting whacked, 19 bucks and change. So it's in, big trading range now. Support here, resistance above. We'll come back to it. Charlie was a bearish gap this morning, and now it's closing the gap, so I got nothing. CBS, gapping right under here. This is a tier I'm going to get rid of Michael Jackson here. That is a beautiful gap with a price void. Step 2. LaDon, are you listening? Step 2. So I need a compelling intraday setup. So I put it in a window. That's what we talked about on MT Live on Wednesday. Baidu. I don't like the way it trades, but I think it had earnings today. AMAC gap down, and it's actually a sell setup right now, pre-market. Gapping down and a sell setup, that's in perfect alignment. I'm going to put that in a window on my other screen here. ANET, gapping too much, nothing to do. Yandex, 34 bucks, nothing to do. We'll come back to you. PCG. These are these energy stocks, or utilities rather. California fires. I got no interest in that. Little Caesars, been basing like a champ. It was gapping up to 10. I'll put that in a little window. Oh, on opens, I forgot about GHL. We covered a third at 23 bucks. And we're just in nice management mode. That's doing nicely. Deer, 158, bearish gap. This is a bear call credit spread watch. Putting that in a window. NVIDIA, 164, gapping, to this prior high, but this is support now. We'll keep an eye on that for a put spread. Pepsi, 114.80. We'll come back to it. Little cron. So we'll look at these pot stocks. Tesla, I was looking at as a bear call spread candidate. And today being option expiration day, I will be looking for bull and bear call put setups within the first 30 minutes. My favorite is, well, the Qs have been weaker, but now, look, pre-market, look at this 15-minute chart. Crazy, crazy afternoon volatility yesterday. Like the dog with a toy in his mouth. That's what this was. But we're, breaking out, taking out yesterday's high, yesterday's pre-market high. This is a wide range bar. 3 15-minute bars in the upper third. That's a bullish pattern right there, folks. So I'm inclined to find the best looking one and maybe selling a put spread. We could sell a 273 put spread right there, right at yesterday's low. Spiders are always liquid. Diamonds, nope, I don't like that one. IWM is strong. Yeah, if we can sell a 153 on that for today. So those are my two I like. Even Qs maybe if there's juice. So it's 927 based on the strength into the open here and the 15-minute charts, what I just showed you. I got a bullish bias so far until we process information. Qs versus XLK. But I like Qs better, actually. This one's right at the 200, right at this prior breakdown area. Well, so are the Qs, but I like the 15-minute breakout here. That's a was it not 2 minutes ago that I said this is bullish action? And this thing just ripped. This just ripped $1 in 2 minutes. I'm not watching the news, but are they chattering anything? Yeah, no kidding. So anything opening down is weak. My Dow 30 though, every single one is green. Hey trader, what stock did you email me that you wanted to look at?